Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session on making zero trust possible with an SSE approach. Before we get started, let me introduce you to myself and our host today. My name is Jay Tilson, and I am joined by my colleague and my friend, Mr. John Spiegel. John really hates me saying this, but together we have over 50 years of enterprise experience running large infrastructure and security teams. We spent most of our careers sitting in your chairs and have experienced your daily challenges. And not just those technical challenges, but the cultural, budget and resource challenges also. Recently, we left the enterprise space and moved to a company called Access Security, which is now part of the wider HP Aruba networking group. Because we believe both networking and security are mired in complexity. Stitching together solutions that worked in the early 2000s no longer work in this new world of the hybrid workforce. And we found that this approach really created more challenges than it solved. So let's move on. I think we can all agree that over the last few years, the technology world has evolved faster than ever before, especially with the pandemic being a major catalyst for what we call the modern workplace. Users, devices, and data are now everywhere, but the legacy security systems that many of us relied on in the past do not work today. This has made it difficult to empower and protect our remote workforce, and the bad guys know this and use it to their advantage. So as a result, cyber attacks are increasing at an alarming rate. Ransomware was named the top threat type in 2021 and 2022, and the number of attacks increased over 140% in the second half of 2021 alone. Ransomware damages are also expected to exceed over $30 billion worldwide in the coming year. And this means that in the new world of this digital citizen, securing our remote workforce is critical for every IT and security team to prioritize. So let's look at some more statistics. So as I just said, ransomware was named the top threat type in 2021 and 2022, but there are also other concerns for our security teams. Social engineering threats increased by a whopping 270% in 2021, and there has been a 1,500% increase in attacks against VPNs. This has led to 71% of businesses concerned about those legacy VPNs that we're also familiar with. And this has led to the regained popularity in zero trust. And zero trust is a concept of never trust and always verify, and was first introduced by one of our friends, John Kindervag, back in 2010. However, the move to cloud and the rise of the hybrid workforce and the increase of regulatory requirements have all contributed to making zero trust a core element of every CISO and CIO's strategy.
And as Jay's pointed out, what we've done in the past, we can't continue in the future. And as a result of that, when we built Access Security, now HPE SSE, we put zero trust at the core of everything we do. There's no implicit trust. We establish trust based on contextual and adaptive functionality. Adaptive trust, it is the notion of continuing to adapt connectivity based on changes in contexts such as identity, device, policy, application, and data. For work to get done, users inevitably will require access. In other words, they need to establish trust. Adaptive trust continuously ensures that only specific users gain access to specific applications, leveraging API-based integrations between the core security services and automate these processes. There are 5 areas that trust should be adaptive and continuously assessed. These are, first, identity. Identity is at the core of everything we do. It should be at the core of your security program. We establish identity through one of our partner IDP providers. As status changes for the individual, so will the permissions. Next up, a critical item, device. The user's device posture is confirmed and continuously checked in our system. Posture can be for things like an operating system. Maybe it's a patch level. Is the disk encrypted? Or is the firewall on? We ensure device reach a certain security state and check that requirement based on business policy. If the posture changes, access can be automatically adjusted or removed. It's also critical to assess the application. Trust here, again, must be adaptive, and the application checked on a regular basis. For example, what is the context? And context matters when providing access to private applications, perhaps more so than when accessing the internet. And it's worth noting that the Access SSE solution provided by HPE can configure applications based on holistic port and protocol that can be easily defined, discovered, and evaluated. And finally, data. We need to understand the data being accessed. We need to protect you and control the application access based on business policy. And then finally, how do we wrap it up? It all comes down to the equation of policy. We need to explain policy in business languages because at the end of the day, your security mechanisms are a business outcome. So talking about SSE, what should be prioritized as you consider the future needs for your business? As Jay mentioned at the start of this presentation, the way we work, the way we consume IT has changed, but so has the ability of the bad cyber actor to exploit it. Thus, for both networking and security, we need to change and evolve. And also what is needed is simplification. The tools of the past have created complexity and vendor sprawl. Said another way, complexity is the enemy of security. For security to be successful in the decade of the 2020s, we need to change and move forward and look to simplify. For a lens into the future, the Gartner Hype Cycle offers solid optics. If you're not familiar with it, Gartner publishes the Hype Cycle on a yearly basis. It's a good tool to measure the life cycle of a particular technology and focus on the technologies that you may be considering investing in or have already started to. Those are ZTNA, CASB, and SWIG. And as we can see, these key individual building blocks of ZTNA, CASB, and SWIG are all considered mature technologies, technologies you should be investing in now. But how they're packaged, that is new. In the past, these components were individual players. They were solo purchases. This creates complexity, which again is the friend of the bad cyber actor. A new approach is to bundle them. What does this provide? Simplicity. It's the superhero that we need right now. So let's dive into one of those, the framework known as SASE. SASE is Secure Access Service Edge. Introduced by Gartner in 2019, SASE addresses the traditional challenge presented to every network and security engineer when faced with how to deploy a new application. Do I build out for speed or security? In the past, the choice was always speed because speed equaled employee performance. With SASE, you can solve this dilemma. You can have both. How? Via a network and security fabric deployed as close as possible to the employee or the application via POPs or points of presence. SASE is delivered in two technology stacks. On one side is WAN security services, and then on the left is SSE. IT teams are turning to SASE for modern secure access, but also they are looking to simplify their network and security stacks. So how is SASE being adopted? 41.5% say they have adopted SASE already, and 75% say they will adopt SASE either this year or in the years to come.
Okay, so let's take a deeper look at SSE. Recently, Access, in partnership with Cybersecurity Insiders, conducted the first ever research on SSE adoption. We wanted to understand where people are on their journey and why they're adopting SSE. The report has some really good insights and is well worth a read, but for this session, I'm just going to pull on some of really what are my key takeaways. So firstly, the report shows that both elements of SASE, the WAN edge services and SSE, are on the rise, which backs up the need for change as we've just discussed. Secondly, it's interesting to note that SSE is seen as a strategic initiative to secure our remote workforce, with 39% of respondents viewing it as the most important part of their zero trust strategy, even over things like identity providers and endpoint security. Lastly, and I think most importantly, as companies look to implement SASE, 67% of businesses plan to implement their SASE strategy with SSE first versus WAN edge services. This shows that the security team is gaining traction within the business against the networking teams. So let's just remind ourselves about the three approaches in which we can secure our workforce today. Firstly, we have the hub and spoke design. This is for me as a progression from the old castle and moat design where everyone was inside the perimeter, but this design still focuses on having on-premise security, even though users and their data had started to move to the cloud. With this design, there is still a heavy reliance on MPLS and internal data centers. And in my experience, this design is complex to configure and to administrate. You need to feed and water the applications and ensure that they remain secure. And you also have to go through hardware renewal cycles and continually patch all of your systems. Another option is virtualized cloud firewalls. This is an evolution of the hub and spoke, and really is all about moving those legacy-based security systems that used to run on hardware to cloud-based solutions. The aim here really was to remove some of the burdens of keeping systems secure. However, in a lot of cases, this meant backhauling internet traffic to your corporate networking data center. So although this design was supposed to be simpler to manage, in my experience, it often led to more complexity and cost. Then there is SSE. And in my mind and in John's mind, this is the design of the future. This is all about delivering all of your connectivity and security tools from the cloud. Gone are the days of patching your systems, and SSE, I believe, is going to stand side by side with you in the battle against the bad guys.
So let's break down those services that make up the framework of the future that Jay just called out. As you dive deeper into SSE solutions, you will find that each solution emphasizes a different technology area. Maybe it's SWIG because that's where the company started. Or maybe it's CASB because that was the target market where that company was looking to be competitive in. For HPE SSE, we take a different approach. We believe that the future is about transitioning to a new security strategy based on zero trust. Only provide access to the resources required to perform a function, nothing more, nothing less. Then vigilantly watch for any indicators of compromise in a negative manner. We built our platform based on zero trust network access. The strategy is at the center of everything we do. It is the foundation of our technology. The future is about delivering secure access for applications, whether they're in the cloud or in your private data center. Services must be delivered in a same, no matter the location, with security checks such as MFA, device posture matched with the request for data based on business policy. We've solved this in an elegant way for both your employees and those difficult to secure third-party resources. Building on zero trust as our foundation, HPE SSE then adds other features to the platform. Secure Web Gateway, which is fundamental to securing your employees from the threats of the internet. Or maybe your company is leveraging SaaS assets like Workday or Salesforce. If so, utilize our cloud services access broker. Building on a zero trust foundation, HPE SSE then adds other features to the platform. Secure Web Gateway or SWIG, which is fundamental to securing your employees from the threats of the internet. Or maybe your company is leveraging SaaS assets like Salesforce or O365. If so, leverage our Cloud Security Access Broker, or CASB. Secure your SaaS solutions with an easy-to-read business policy. Or maybe you want to understand the user experience. How's the application performing on the network? If so, digital experience monitoring is also available. Quickly uncover how an application performance is working or not working. Is it the network? Is it the device? Is it the application? DEM has you covered there.
So let's look at a little bit of how this all works. As previously stated, our Atmos platform includes all of the core functions of SSE. This means that you can be granted to internet, SaaS applications, the public cloud, or applications hosted in your data centers from a single UI. Firstly, the user requests access. Note that this can be done with or without an agent, so we can cover those difficult third-party and contractor use cases that John just mentioned. Next, the platform will auto-mediate the request for access at scale. So unlike with legacy VPNs, there are no pass-through connections. Users do not get an IP address on your network and they cannot move laterally. Then the system will prompt for MFA and automatically verify against your defined access policies. This is based on user, device, and application context, as we've mentioned, to prevent any unauthorized access. Once everything balances, it then brokers smart and surgical connections that help to minimize attack surface and prevent that lateral movement. And as previously mentioned, we have a single data lake for all of these services, which allows full visibility for all traffic. Please note that the platform continuously inspects the posture of the device and the user, and if anything changes, access can be adapted or removed within 60 seconds. So this all adds up to increased protection against the bad guys, but also significantly reduces cost and complexity, as well as, most importantly, securing and empowering your remote workforce. So you may ask, what are the benefits of an SSE platform? Firstly, it increases your security posture by providing zero trust access to all applications. You eliminate your attack surface and reduce your exposure. You also get to enforce least privileged access to all applications and services, including private applications, SaaS applications, and internet. This will help you protect your business against ransomware and data loss. Secondly, you get to deliver the best experience possible for your end users and IT administrators. End users receive quick, seamless access to applications and services and data every time because of our intelligent smart routing across over 1,000 plus edge locations. Also, IT admins can control access centrally and granularly, making it easy to secure the business from a holistic perspective. And then lastly, you get to optimize your business with one solution for all of your secure access needs. You get to simplify and unify networking and security functions and minimize complexity by removing the number of point products in play. Additionally, you also get to save money by reducing reliance on application-based security solutions, and you can effortlessly scale with our cloud-delivered platform.
So where do you go from here? Making the move to SASE or SSE is a journey, and we're here to support you. But where you start, that's up to you. It's really about solving critical business challenges. Maybe your need is connecting your branch or your retail stores to improve connectivity and security. If so, start with Aruba Network's best-in-class SD-WAN solution known as Edge Connect. Or maybe your challenge is how to secure your remote workforce or third-party contractors. If so, start with the most innovative SSE solution on the market. If you choose SSE as your first step, then we recommend starting with ZTNA. It's the foundation. It's going to give you that quick win, and you will see immediate value. The idea here is to standardize connecting from private applications. Then start to solve other business problems. Maybe it's securing the workforce from the internet. If so, leverage our Secure Web Gateway, or SWIG. Protect your employees from malware. Filter connectivity based on business policy, and leverage sandboxing features. Next up, secure your SaaS applications. Use an inline CASB to prevent exfiltration of sensitive data. For example, maybe it's a critical Excel file that someone wants to send up to Dropbox. This can be easily accomplished with a single policy statement. Or maybe the problem is more complex, and it's securing a SaaS application like O365 or Salesforce. If so, use an out-of-band CASB. Centralize management and secure those critical SaaS applications. The main takeaway here is that the journey to SASE or SSE is a journey. You need to map it out. You need to consider your business needs. What are the outcomes you're looking for to deliver in 2024? Start there. Then start to layer on more outcomes. Leverage a platform effect to simplify your security and network needs. Simplification, it lowers your management burden, it lowers your costs, and results in better security outcomes. Keep this in mind. Zero trust should be at the center of your security strategy.
So that's it from us today. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope you found this session useful. If you would like to discuss what you have heard today, then please feel free to scan the QR code or contact us directly.